Okay, now try. I don't know if people are there. Hello, hello. One watching, says one.
Are we there? Can people see us?
I don't know. They're all on his channel. Oh, I can't leave a link over there. Damn it.
Yeah, they're all on his channel.
My channel. Didn't he leave a comment on his own channel? He didn't do that. Okay, now try. I'll leave a comment. Hiko had to bail. Hiko had to bail. I don't know if people are there. Please check. One watching. Twitter. No, that's my voice coming on over. Or that's typical. Okay, one watching. Why? How is it private? Just a minute. Oh, maybe it's. Oh, set it. Oh, hold on. Basic info. They're all on his channel. Oh, I can't leave a link over there. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go. No,
channel.
now it's okay. Now we're public. I understand what happened. It was set on private, actually. Didn't he leave a comment on his own channel? He didn't do that.
Oh, so there's a delay.
You might have to log out once and log back in. I don't know. One watching. Oh no, you're there apparently. Join. That's typical. Okay, one watching.
Whoa.
You there? They're all on his channel.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, it should be okay now. Okay, there we go. No, now it's okay. Now we're public. That should be okay now. It's not private anymore. It was private. You're right. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It looks like it's live now. I can see the video. I can see repeated video.
Yeah, it's on. It's live now. How do I get to my own channel? Edit now. Resume Hangout on air. I cannot see. I cannot see my video. Oh, here's some people there. Here we go. What magic is this? Okay, good. We've got 5 people watching. It was private. Okay, there you go. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Well, the actual quality is so good. it's actually very silent when you're not speaking, so it makes me think you're.
Oh, really?
Gone. Let's give people a few minutes to find us.
Sure. Let me tweet it out.
Yeah, tweet that out there. Let's see what's happening here. Health is good. Channel health is good. Let's see. Everything else looks okay. Public, yeah, public, custom. Okay. Yeah, Hiko, this is the first time he's ever done this, actually. I mean, bailed right before it started, so my apologies on his behalf. You didn't have a chance to talk with him, did you?
No, he just sent me a message on Facebook.
Yeah, he's never had to do this before. Of course, he does have a sensitive job, so
yeah,
that we can't talk about on air.
Oh, careful, we're alive now, right?
Yes. Involving lots of CIA agents and such. 19 watching now, yeah, so. Okay, 23 now. So people come over. Okay, good. Okay.
Let me put it on my Facebook page here and see if we can, what we can do.
Gerald Max, go get him. Tell him to come on over because I wish he should shut down the other channel. I did leave a message over there, but let me see if I can leave another message. We can't. It's on my channel. Hiko can't make it tonight. Let's just write these notes. Maybe I can leave a link. The last half. They won't let you. It won't let you drop links.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can drop the end of it. Maybe. Yeah. You can drop the end of it. So I'm gonna spam his channel. Won't let me do it. Okay, come on. Go here. Will that work? Oh, won't let me know. Yeah, it says you posted too many comments. Okay. Well, it looks like we're okay though. All right, let me post one more Twitter thing here.
Honey, can I see your laptop?
2.5 moved.
Well, let's see what this looks like. Wait.
There we go. And I retweeted that. Let's give everybody one more minute. Let's see what the health is like here. We still got 30 people on that side. Oh, okay, it looks like they're all over now. They're over. Okay, we can start. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, just a minute. Let's get my sensible phone. Okay. Let me close the door because my wife's gonna be like, "What the hell are you doing?" And there we go. And I retweeted that. We're already ready. And starting 8 minutes late. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the delay. We were actually on schedule, but Hiko Simon suddenly had a mission he had to go off on. So I am ill-equipped for this. Let me equip myself. Got a bottle of whiskey here. Today we have, what do we got? Sir Edwards. I hope you're not a teetotaler, Anthony.
No.
All right. You don't have to drink. I'm the one who I will control the alcohol, the liquid, fluid, the spirits this evening. Cheers. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
That's good. Now, Hiko, like I said, Hiko unfortunately had to leave. I apologize.
I think he said he might come later, right?
On his behalf, he might come later. Ruben Valenzuela, thank you very much. A warm welcome from from a troll. We're looking at the comments. Today we have all the way from. Actually, I'm very ill-equipped for the presentation today. Anthony, could you do me a favor and help me out? It is Anthony, isn't it?
No, it's Greg.
Huh?
No, just kidding. No, it's Anthony.
Okay. Oh my God, you scared me already. Okay, could you help me out? What's going on? Who are you?
Sure. Well, some people might know that I'm the editor of Gaijinpot.
Okay.
I've been in Japan 2 years now, originally from Canada. And I do a lot of social media for Gaijinpot with the Facebook page, YouTube videos, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And we recently posted an article discussing a very controversial topic, one that generates a lot of comments.
The fact that we foreigners are superior to Japanese.
Right. Written by a Japanese woman too, actually.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. When I saw the article that Hiko sent me, I assumed that we would be meeting her tonight.
Unfortunately, no. Sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, no, that's all right. That's all right. But then I thought, but he said it's a man, so I was confused because I read this and I said, okay. Can you give us a little background on her first? A little any information?
She was originally born in Japan, and she's studying in university. Or she finished university in California now. Now she's working out in Los Angeles, and she just writes a lot of articles for us comparing what it was like to live in Japan with what it's like to live in America.
Mm-hmm.
So she has got this dual perspective that she brings to our audience.
And she's based where?
In California.
California right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but she's half and half, I guess.
Well, she's full Japanese. She's full Japanese. She's born here.
Full Japanese, I see.
Yeah, she's born here and then went to uni in California.
All right. Okay. Full Japanese born. How good is her English?
I've never actually spoken to her on the phone, but you can judge her quality of her writing.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's definitely true. I thought it was a native, to be honest. So, okay.
There's a lot of editing done to that.
So, what kind of traffic are you getting on this? It's called the Gaijin complex, and I suppose anyone who's looking for this is on. I'm not sure if it's in the description. I guess it's not because I didn't have time to set it up, and I'm not sure how to link this. Let me see. blog.gaijinpot.com/gaijin-complex. I'll try linking it. It doesn't let me link. Damn it. I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try to put it in the description right now. It'll be the first link. Not sure if this will work. You will now enter. Oh, let me see. It may work. It may not. It's trying to sign me into it. Did it work? Just a minute. Yes, it worked. I'm not sure how to. If you refresh your page, okay. Oh, we're good. Let me see. I'm gonna do something here. Okay.
Whoa, I just dropped out. What happened there?
Smooth as hell. Okay. And how did you? Wow, you got a great job. You've only been in Japan 2 years, and you've already got a job at Gaijinpot. Everyone loves that site. You have a very popular site. What kind of traffic are you getting on this particular blog?
Well, this article did really well. I mean, you can see that it has quite a few comments on the article. We got 88 comments right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always kind of an interesting topic. It's a topic that a lot of people like to voice their opinion on.
Right.
So I was talking to Hiko about it, and he thought it might become an interesting subject for us to discuss, especially you two been in Japan a lot longer than I have. Probably a lot longer than most of the people who comment.
Yeah, most people are usually dead at my age. Any part of the world. But no, it's an interesting article. I do sympathize with it. Of course, she's being Japanese. The weight of her words is it's something I just can't even pretend to. I can't pretend that my opinion has the same weight as hers, simply because of who she is, right?
Right.
I will say that I feel that way sometimes, especially among the men. I don't know. You've been here 2 years. How do you feel about it that way?
I mean, for me, it's kind of funny that before I came here, I kind of read a lot about these kind of Gaijin microaggressions, I guess you could call it. I never actually experienced it myself. You know, like the people they sit next to me on the train. I've never had anyone walk up to me, start speaking English.
Mm.
I've spoken to people. I mean, I don't speak any Japanese, so I speak pretty much English to everybody. I've never had anybody run away or freak out or anything. So I don't know if I can't really relate to it, but I imagine some people have had some experiences like that.
Oh well, I used to have a dog, and she was on the channel quite a bit, and she died three months ago actually. And the only relevance is that since then, instead of bicycling to work, I used to take her to work on my bicycle. But since she's dead now, I take the subway every day. And I've noticed that people, really do not want to sit next to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty surprising. Almost every day. I mean, they will eventually.
Yeah.
Like today was really crowded on the way to work, and it's really packed. I sat down, and there's seats right open next to me. And this beautiful, gorgeous woman is standing in front of me, but she won't sit down. This old man pushes by her and sits down.
Oh, yeah.
And there were like 4 or 5 gorgeous women. But, it's the fact that they're gorgeous women could be it. I completely understand that. I guess I wouldn't sit next to me either, but, maybe I look like I'm going to hit on her. I don't know. I was pretty into my cell phone trying to look as, oh, wow, Ruben is really angry. Poor Ruben. He probably has a small penis. Okay.
The thing that's strange is that the opposite happens to me. Like if I'm on the train, I'm in Tokyo, right? So the train's always busy. If I'm on the train and there's a chance where the train's not busy and there's seats across from me, there's seats like beside me, what will happen is that old guy will sit beside me. And I don't understand why. I even try to look like a scary gaijin. I'm staring at them like, don't sit. I don't want them sitting next to me. But no, they do. So I don't know what it is.
I don't get it a lot, but often. I mean, it isn't always, of course, but it's enough that it happens at least every other day now.
Really?
But I mean, if it's really packed, and I'm usually wearing a dress shirt, maybe a tie sometimes, and usually people are fine. They'll sit next to me. But I know here's my point. I never believed it happened until these last 3 months, until I started riding subway like every day. Maybe it happened in the old days and I don't remember, But
I don't doubt that it happens. I mean, you read it enough that I'm sure it does happen. I'm waiting for it to happen to me so I can get some space. In Tokyo we want space, right? So
a metropolitan city, Nagoya is not so metropolitan. There's not so many foreigners. There's 1 every 2 subways, maybe. Subway cars. There must be 1 every subway car, I imagine. Maybe, I don't know. What's it like? What do you think?
But I think
is there a Gaijin in every subway car?
No, I don't think. No, not really.
Okay,
I mean, I hear that all the time. I hear that, there's so many Gaijin in Tokyo, but I came from Bangkok before I came here, and there's so many more foreigners you see in Bangkok than you do in Tokyo.
Oh, what were you doing in Bangkok?
I was doing social media stuff, the same as what I'm doing now.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, if you don't mind me getting off topic a little bit, what's it like living in Bangkok?
It's like the total opposite of Japan.
As a foreigner.
It's kind of the opposite of Japan.
Meaning
that you just...
Spit on you?
Sorry?
People spit on you, or?
No. It's the complete opposite. I mean, you have that kind of, charisma man thing going on there as well, but I mean, just with the culture is so much different than Japanese culture. So much more relaxed, so much more free, open. You don't feel this kind of social pressure all the time. It's a nice contrast. If Japan gets too much and you get too stressed out about all this, just go to Bangkok and it's complete opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Then when it gets frustrating, that nothing works and your server forgets your order and people are standing right dead center in the middle of the escalator, and you come back to Tokyo.
Okay.
It's a nice, calm, peaceful orderliness back here. So it's a nice contrast.
Nice view, but they're also a disorganized. It's a disorganized mess.
Sorry, what?
It's a disorganized mess.
Over there?
Yeah. No? In Bangkok?
Yeah, Bangkok.
All right.
It's chaotic, but disorganized. Here it's chaotic and organized, but over there it's just chaotic and disorganized. But it's a lot of fun.
All right. I've been a couple times. I mean, yeah, maybe 9 times or so. I like it, but I never lived there. So I imagine it's different. When I'm on vacation, I don't have to go to work every day there, so it's completely different. But
yeah, vacation is nice there. I wouldn't want to live there again though. There's a lot of frustrations with living there.
What's nice there?
Sorry?
What did you say? You said the something is nice there. I didn't.
Vacationing is nice there.
Oh yeah. And why wouldn't you want to live there?
Because I like the infrastructure of Tokyo. I like the fact that the internet works and the train works and the taxis work, and when you're on holiday, you don't care about these things. You don't notice them.
That's true. You don't even notice. That's right.
Right. But when you live there and you kind of depend on these to do your job, it gets frustrating when they don't work.
So we like to bitch a lot about Japan, but actually, I guess, at the end of the day, and the crime rate is very low here.
Right.
How is the crime in Bangkok? Well, let's not be that bad, but you have military coups, which
that happens every few years, and kind of remove the old government, bring in a new one, they fight, and it's kind of a nice circle that they do.
Not so bad. Okay. Let's go back to this article here about the Gaijin complex. So you haven't really experienced this?
This kind of, hidden racism, so to speak?
Well, I guess like you said before, what did you call it? Microaggressions? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a big follower of I forgot his name, the guy who coined that word?
Bay McNeil?
No, the guy who coined microaggression.
Oh, I don't know. I read it from somewhere on the internet.
It's from someone help me on the subtitle in the comments, everyone. I can't remember his name.
Oh, DeVito?
Yes, Gaijin. He's been around forever. What's his name? No, he's like infamous. Come on, guys. Someone drop in the comments. I can't remember his name right now. It's escaped my microaggression. What the hell? Let me see. No, I can't see. Oh, damn it. No one's... There's a famous foreigner who's been here a long time. I guess a little bit longer than I have, actually.
Is that DeVito guy?
DeVito. That's it.
Yeah.
DeVito. Right. Are you familiar with him?
I don't follow him. I've read a few of his things. I don't follow him though.
Okay.
But it's just a term that I kind of saw on the internet before I moved here. So, but I don't. I mean, I may have experienced it. I don't really felt like I've experienced it. Like I said, my language level doesn't really allow me to understand if I have or not. But I've never had any of the kind of stereotypical examples that a lot of people have posted in the comments, like foreigners running away or Japanese people running away or freaking out when you speak English to them.
There are rarely, once in a while, they will freak out, but it's not that bad. No, it's not that bad at all. And Nagoya is a pretty big city. It's like Cleveland or something. You're from the States, or?
I'm from Canada.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. What part?
Vancouver.
Okay, that's a big enough city. I imagine it's about the same.
Yeah, it's about 2 million people.
Yeah, it's about the same as Nagoya. So, you have lots of different people from all over the world. But yeah, I do think if you're a guy dealing with foreigners all the time, some of the guys do feel, I guess, a little intimidated by us. Part of it is because we don't have to follow the rules.
Right.
The rules really don't apply to us, so we kind of play outside the rules. It's a little bit unfair. They're expected to do things that we don't have to do. We can get away with a lot of shit. So in that respect, I completely agree with this. At the same time, do you know the Woody Allen complex?
No, what's that?
Okay, I would never want to date a woman who would want
to date me. Right.
Anyone like me, right? So I think the Japanese suffer from that in general. This is, of course, a generality, not all of them. Like why? That's basically how they feel, I think, about foreigners a little bit. They feel they're superior to us, but if we agree with them, then there's something wrong with us. So we're. That's my general opinion about that.
How long have you been in Japan?
23. At the same time, maybe. Do you know the Woody Allen complex? Sorry. 23 years, maybe 24. 1991. What is it? I think it was 1991. So
you think that? I mean, obviously, there's more foreigners now than there was back then. So do you think that there might have been more of this kind of covert racism back then, or have you seen it less or more, or? Because there's obviously more foreigners now than there was back then, right?
Yeah, of course. I think
when you first came here, were the Japanese a little bit more hostile, or what do you think?
No, they weren't. I've never thought the Japanese were hostile. Never at all. I guess it depends on what you're doing, For example, if you're competing with another guy for a girl, right? Of course, anyone's going to be hostile, and then it breaks down along barrier lines, racial lines. Oh, you're a foreigner, I'm not, that kind of thing. So there's that them and us kind of thing.
Right.
But it's only because you're kind of competing for the same
girl.
For the same grazing area.
Right.
But in the end, that's one-on-one. So if there's two guys after the same lady, yeah, you might have that. And that's what happened to me, actually. But I didn't feel, I'll tell you, it's kind of a funny story. I was after this girl who I very, very much into. And she did not have a boyfriend, but there was another guy, a Japanese guy, who was after her at the same time. And I felt like I was the intruder, in this non-relationship. She wasn't dating him yet. She was moving to Kyoto to go to college. I was 21, right, 22, and she was 19 and going to college. And we both went to the subway to the train station, Nagoya Station, to see her off, unbeknownst to each other. Like when I got there, he was there with flowers, and I was there with flowers. And I wanted to tell her, just for her to know that I was going to miss her, and although we hadn't really started dating yet,
Yeah.
And when he appeared, I was like, oh shit! Like even though, I had as much right to see her off as he did. Right. I felt like I was the intruder. How did he feel? I don't know. It's just hard for me to tell you. But he also kept his distance, so we were kind of respectful of each other. But did I have an advantage over him? Did he feel at a disadvantage? I think it really depends on the person. It's hard to tell. Now you're saying you mentioned the word racism. Is it covert racism? I don't think it's really. That's not even the word. It's xenophobia, number one. And that's because some of us are not. Oh, but the article does talk about non-Asians.
Well, I think that the crux of the comments on the article a lot of people seem to take issue with the fact that the author is painting this situation not as a racist event, but rather just kind of part of Japanese culture. For example, in the article, she mentions that one of her friends tried to go to a Japanese restaurant, and they said, "Sorry, we don't serve any foreigners."
Yeah.
She's saying, well, there could be a million reasons why they didn't want to serve her friend at the time. And I think the people in the comments are saying, well, that's racist. Regardless of the reason, it's racist. And so the comments seem to argue that she's trying to justify the racism through this kind of culturalness of Japan.
Mm.
So that's what I was kind of curious as what you guys thought, being here a lot longer. Is it really true?
Well,
because my feeling is kind of like, I feel like some of these people in the comments, they're kind of looking at it from a Western mindset.
Of course.
You know, and then, to them, from the West, it does kind of look like racism, but without having an understanding of Japanese culture, it's hard to really call it racism. On the same level as you would say you get in the West. You know, one guy posted a comment, he said, like, he said, I feel like a black person in America being a white guy in Japan. And to me, this is ridiculous because you can't compare that at all.
No.
So I think like a lot of these comments kind of, they just kind of get this twinge of racism, and they view it from their Western mindset, and they just kind of blow it up to what it bigger than it really is. Right.
Yeah. It's completely different. You can't really compare it all. Okay, at the end of the day, on from a legal standpoint, I guess, I don't know, a technical standpoint, yes, it's technically racism, but it doesn't carry the sexual gravitas that racism in America carries, which means history of slavery, for example.
Right.
Which we don't have here. There's no one looks at you and says and thinks, oh, you know, your ancestors used to be slaves. I mean, I don't look at black people that way either, but there was that history. I mean, it's there. It's underlying, you know, on some level. When you treat a black person, when you incorrectly because of their race, when we don't treat them as you would a white person, then yeah, there's that. But in Japan, it's more like, oh shit, I don't speak English.
Right.
That's what it is. It isn't so much as, oh, you're not Japanese. It's not so much you. It's more me. It's not you. It's me.
Right.
It really is that. It's not like it's their problem. It's more their problem about themselves, you know, than any personal problem they have with us. In fact, if anything, they are guilty of not looking at us as human beings, but not as lesser human beings. Well, that doesn't make sense, does it?
What?
They're not looking at us as individual human beings compared to them. They're looking at themselves. When they see us, they see themselves being unable to communicate, and that's the problem they have.
Right. And like you said earlier, we kind of stand outside the social hierarchy and the social norms here in Japan. And so many times these people, if they haven't had a lot of interaction with foreigners, they just don't know how to deal with us. They don't know how to address us. You know, even in Japanese, they don't know how to address us, and let alone trying to do it in English. So to save face and save embarrassment, I think they just resort to trying to avoid the situation by refusing you entry to their business or whatever.
Right.
And I think and then someone from the West coming from the West, and part of it I feel too is I did an interview actually from the Gaijinpot podcast a while back with a gentleman who's a black guy from America. He's working as a recruiter here. And he made a really interesting comment. He said that as a recruiter, obviously he works with a lot of new recruits to Japan. And he said a lot of these people have never been in a situation where their actions are representative of a larger group. Right? Whereas if you're a minority in America, if you're a black guy in America, maybe Latino or something like that, you kind of do feel that, I'm sure, in your daily life, right? Whereas most, I would say most Caucasians...
When I mow someone's lawn, I'm really careful. I do a good job. Take care of everything. And I try not to steal anything.
So I think as most white, you know, Caucasians, we don't really feel that. No. Especially coming from, say, America or Canada, we don't feel like what I do gets interpreted with what everybody else does. Whereas here in Japan it does. So that's the first time that they kind of have this responsibility. So any kind of twinge of racism or anything that kind of is negative toward them, they tend to kind of freak out a little bit and not know how to deal with it.
I would say I don't know if you know this about me. I'm not actually technically Caucasian in the States, at least. I'm usually referred to as Hispanic or Mexican because that's the only thing they know. If I'm in New York, I'm Puerto Rican. If I'm in Florida, I'm Cuban. But I grew up in the white world. I didn't realize I was even Hispanic until I moved to New York. I went to a white school. I was the only Hispanic, and it was never an issue with me growing up until I went to New York, and then it was like, oh, you're Puerto Rican, right? But I'm not actually. I'm Peruvian. I'm none of the above. But I've never had that problem. I do think that in Japan I'm treated slightly different than your typical white guy because I'm not as as white as you are, I think, to the Japanese eye, but I'm not really sure.
But you know what the thing is, I'm half Japanese.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's
why I was confused. Okay. Yeah, Hiko said something about somebody being half Japanese, so I thought he was talking about the writer. I thought
yeah, I'm half Japanese.
Okay. Really? I don't really see it. Huh. Yeah, I'm looking at you. This is strange. Trying to see your race, you know. Well, again, the whole idea of race is just, you know, does race really exist? You see these comments all over the internet, but anyway, back. So, well, I don't know. How do you feel about that then? You do have a better understanding of this than I would then.
Well, I don't know if I'd have a better understanding though, because I've only been here 2 years. Most of my life was spent in Canada.
Well, okay, let's switch over to Canada for a minute, which is renowned as a very friendly place. Everyone's friendly. Everyone loves Canadians. We don't even have a good slang word for you. It's not even a good insult. There's no disparaging way to refer to your country. So how are Canadians to you?
Are we Canadians?
Yeah, how are Canadians treating you as a half? I mean, I'm an immigrant to Japan. I'm to America as well, and I often got the "where you really from" kind of comment.
Right.
Go back to Mexico kind of shit, where you know.
I got that when I first. Well, the thing is, actually, I should backtrack. I lived in Japan when I was a child. So I was born in Canada, but then I lived in Oita when I was a child, from age 6 to 9. Then I went back to Canada. So I got a little bit of that when I first went back. Because when I first went back, I was quite different in I didn't speak a lot of English, and I was quite, I was very kind of Japanese in my actions. So I went into we moved to a small town, and there was no other Asians in the whole school except me and my sister. So only then did I ever feel that. But the same thing here. When I lived in Oita, I think we were the only white family in the whole, I was the only white kid in my whole school. This was back in the 70s in Oita, right? So there weren't a lot of Gaijin walking around. So I felt it in Japan and I felt it in Canada, but only as a child. Now Canada is super multicultural. I mean,
right.
You go to like an ATM machine, there's like 17 different languages on it. You got to try to find the English one.
Right. So you identify yourself, or you define yourself as a white person.
Well, yeah, I feel more Caucasian because I grew up there. I spent 30 some odd years of my life there. I don't really feel Japanese at all. So.
Right.
Even less now that I came here, actually.
Say again?
Even less now that I'm here. Ironically, when I was in Canada, I didn't really feel 100% Caucasian. I didn't really feel like 100% that I fit in with all my white friends. And then here, ironically, I actually feel more Caucasian. Because of the language, and I can't really do the Japanese mannerisms and stuff like that.
I'm good at the Japanese mannerisms. I can pretty much act that way, and I know how to behave in a way that makes everyone around me comfortable, which I think is just typical of anyone who lives in a society, any society. You adapt to live in society. So when I worked at a big school before, I walk in and say, how gozaimasu to everybody, and everybody says, and when I leave early, I say, osaki ni shitei and everyone, everyone just yells out.
Hand chop when you're walking between two people?
Oh yeah, I'll do the hand chop. I bow on the phone. I do all that, but I mean, because I've been here a while, and one I think quality I have, I don't know about other people, is that I have a kind of a gecko chameleon type of personality, and most people do. I mean, most people do have it to some extent that they can adapt to the situation, and I do have that. So wherever I am, if I'm in Alabama, my accent changes a little bit, and good to see you guys. It's been a long time since I've been down here. Or if I go to New York City, hey, what's up? Hey, good to see you guys. Long time. It changes a little bit, but it's not on a real conscious level.
Right. But I think the people who can do that are the ones that are the most successful living in another country as an expat, right? Because I saw this in Thailand and I see it here. Is that the ones who can't adapt and really struggle with the culture usually end up leaving.
Right.
And
the people who can't eat the food.
And the food.
The food, yeah. Let me veer off topic for a second. In Bangkok, I notice every time I go there, there's always like these weird. I'm gonna just be blunt. Loser, homeless Gaijin, begging for money to get back to the States. What is that? What's that about? Is that real? Is that just?
Yeah, it's starting. Well, it's been 2 years since I've been there, but it was starting to see more of that the last year I was there. I mean, they're not trying to get back home, you know. They're just the problem. Well, not the problem, but the thing with Bangkok is that it's people come there. Not all people, but I mean, some people come there for all the wrong reasons. Same as Japan, you know. Same as Japan. People come here. You ask most people why you came here. They're either into the food, the girls, manga, anime, whatever it is. But kind of the difference is, I think that some of the people go to Bangkok to escape the situation back home, and there's all these vices that are available to you there.
You mean women, drugs?
Women, drugs, booze, you know, that kind of thing. And so it's very easy to kind of get sucked into that. And they look at their life back home, which they couldn't experience any of that. So it's kind of addictive, and they do whatever they can to stay. And so you just started to see more of these foreigners begging for. Sorry?
Even just begging, huh?
Even just begging, yeah. Because they're just so desperate to stay. And the thing is, Bangkok is quite cheap to live there. If you live kind of a Thai style, you can live really cheap. Whereas here in Japan, I think you just don't see that because you just can't live that inexpensively here, right? You can't live here and be a bum. You need to work.
You need at least $1,000. Worst case, I would think you need at least $1,000 a month.
Right. Whereas
even if you really, scrape bottom there.
Whereas the thing is, in Bangkok, see, I know people Thais, working professional Thais, whose monthly salary was less than that. And they're supporting their family, they've got an apartment, they're actually working, but on less money than that. So as a foreigner, if you can get by really inexpensively, and so they're kind of addicted to the city, and they'll do whatever they can to stay. And the sad part is, those begging Thais, those begging foreigners are kind of a novelty because they're kind of new. So Thais actually kind of feel sorry for them a little bit and do give them money.
Oh, really?
I think it's not a good idea.
I've never seen a begging white. I was going to say white guy, but Westerner, I should say, in Japan. And even the homeless that are here don't beg.
Yeah, the homeless. Yeah, that really surprised me. Because if anybody's watching this and you're from Vancouver, you will know that Vancouver is just overrun with homeless people begging.
Really? In New York City?
Everywhere.
On street corners.
Yeah.
Window washers,
Yeah.
Well, everyone in America, I think, that you have those people, but.
So yeah, I was surprised when I come here and you see homeless people. They're not begging. They're just kind of sitting there doing their thing. But I mean, the begging problem is a big issue in Bangkok. You see a lot of Thais doing it. A lot of Thais begging. But that whole,
begging where? In Vancouver?
No, it's in Bangkok.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are they priests? I've seen priests begging.
Yeah, those aren't real though. Those are usually fake, and they're actually not usually. They're all fake, and they're most likely Chinese tourists or whatever who are faking it.
Priests in small southern cities in Thailand begging.
They're not begging though. They wouldn't be begging.
Oh no, well, begging for food from other Thai, like bold begging, not actually even money begging. They carry them food bowls, and other people come in and give them food. In small towns.
They're not begging though. That's their alms run. So the monks do that every morning. They go through the villages and the people give them food, right? But if you're in Bangkok and then a priest comes up to you and asks you for something, that's not real. I mean, he's a scam. Yeah.
And anyone selling you jewelry.
Yeah, anyone pretty much trying to sell you anything is a scam.
That's something that you gotta be thankful for here in Japan. We don't really have that. We don't have anyone coming up to you trying to get you to do anything, except maybe I have seen this recently. I've seen foreigners, but Asians. I think they were actually Thai women who were coming over, who were walking around with like a book with pictures of children and asking you to donate money for the children.
Oh yeah.
I saw that for the first time last weekend. I don't know how common it is yet. They've knocked. I've never seen them in the street, but I've seen them knocking on doors. Like they'll come to my apartment, or when I used to have an apartment, I have a house now, but they'll knock on the door, Since I moved to the house, they don't bother me. When I went in, they'd go into, I guess they go to apartment buildings and they go through every building and knock on the door and say, "Can you please donate some money to take care of these children?"
I've seen a couple times now. I've seen a guy, Asian-looking guy, dressed as a monk, walking up to tourists, trying to sell them this little gold-looking coin. You know that the Japanese gold coin? What's it called? A koban, I think it's called. The oval-shaped one.
With the oval shape with the hole in the middle.
Yeah.
Square hole.
He's. I saw him at Yoyogi Park, and I seen him at Harajuku, walking up to tourists, trying to sell him this thing. And last time I was there, he approached me, and I had my camera with me, so I was like, "Wow, that's cool. Let me take a picture." And as soon as I pulled my camera out, he ran away.
He ran away.
Yeah. So now I've seen him at Harajuku a number of times. So every time I kind of see him and he sees me, I hold my camera up, and he just takes off.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've starting to see a little bit more begging here.
But they don't look real. But you don't think he's Japanese?
I don't think he's Japanese now.
No.
Because he doesn't speak Japanese. He speaks like really broken English, just like a couple words of English, like bye, bye, bye.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one aspect I do like living in Tokyo is that I don't have people walking up to me every day like I did in Vancouver asking me for money or asking if I wanted to buy drugs or anything like that. I've never even had anyone ask me for a free English lesson, too. I've never had anybody walk up to me trying to practice their English.
When I first came here, the first week, someone sat next to me in the subway and said, a girl, she's like a nerdy-looking woman in her maybe late 20s, and she said, "Can I practice my English on you?" And I just gotten here, so I was like, okay. I don't know if it was normal or not, and she spoke to me for a few minutes, and then she got off.
Actually, you know what? I did have one instance once where a drunk guy sat next to me on the train, and he was kind of drunk. He was kind of looking around, and he looked over at me, did like a double take, and then he said to me, "I wash my face every morning," and that's it. I guess that's just like the one phrase he remembered from his lessons, and then he just kind of fell asleep on the train.
Most people remember like, where is the restroom, or my teacher, my mother's at the library. I don't know.
Right.
Well, let me go back to that article because I don't want to let Hiko Simon down by ignoring the article completely, but but he said one of the quotes in there, one of the big quotes is, "As a result, Japanese people experience mixed feelings of envy, admiration, suspicion, and uncertainty when interacting with foreigners." Yeah.
Read the next line, though. That's really kind of the debate that's happening, is this uncertainty when dealing with foreigners can sometimes be viewed as racism.
Right.
So her argument is it's not racism as we would define it in the West, and then people in the comments are saying, no, that's racist. Japanese people are racist.
Yeah, well, it is racist, but racism here doesn't mean the same thing as racism in America or Canada.
Right.
It's a different, yeah. It's not. I mean, I hate to say that it's not as bad, but I mean, racism is bad, of course, but there's no hate behind it. There's no feelings of, oh, you're a scumbag. It's mostly, I don't want to deal with you because you're different, and I'm afraid, and I have insecurities. You
should say too, though. I mean, there are instances of hate-based racism here. There's no doubt, right? I mean, you see those protests and all that. It does exist, but I think generally, as a Caucasian person,
Koreans, right? You're talking about Koreans?
Yeah.
But that's not race. That's the same race. They're both Asian, so that's xenophobia again.
Okay. Well, I mean, like there are Japanese people here who don't like white people, right? I mean, it's not like they're all worried. It's not like they're all kind of uncertain. There are generally people here who don't like white people, but I think my experience is that generally the general public are not, freaking out at us, and they don't have this kind of hate-based reaction to us as way a minority might feel in America.
And they're not obsessing on it. I mean, they've got other things to think about. Racism is not a big issue here, as it is, I'm sure, even in Canada. Immigration is probably a big issue.
Getting to be a big issue, yeah.
Getting big. I mean, we're talking about that all the time in the States,
Yeah.
And people talk about that every day.
Yeah.
They're taking our jobs. We make comedies about it, and they're taking our jobs, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People talk about the blacks and the whites and how they hate each other, or the Koreans and blacks hate each other, but we don't have that here in Japan. it's more individual. It happens, but it's mostly, you know, it's very isolated, and it's mostly a misunderstanding. But again, the opposite is usually truer. Mostly people go out of their way to be nice to you because you're different.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I was celebrating my anniversary with my wife at a restaurant the other day, and this family sat next to us, and I purchased a bottle of whiskey, like a house whiskey, you know, and we knew one person at that table who happened to be living in our neighborhood. So we didn't know any of the men though, but out of politeness, I poured them big generous glasses of whiskey. Got to talking, right, and they invited us to go fishing with them next weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's racial. I'm sure it's because they don't know another foreigner.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not because I'm such a great guy. Maybe it's because I gave them whiskey. Maybe they're alcoholics and they just appreciate the whiskey. I don't know. But it's definitely my view is, oh yeah, they're being friendly, and I appreciate the friendliness. Why not? Why would I say no? I can't accept that because I know you're only doing it because I'm not Japanese and I'm a foreigner, and you just want to hang out with me for a little while. But what do I care? You know, I want to go fishing.
Right. Right.
So next weekend I'm going fishing with this family who I'm sure only invited me because of my race. So I don't know. Is it that bad? There are worse kinds of racism.
Yeah, I mean, no one's trying to burn your house down or attack you or anything like that. It's just I'm surprised at some of the comments that people use as examples and then claim it's racism. The most common one is that they tried to speak Japanese to a Japanese person. The Japanese person responds in English, and then freaks out and runs away. That seems to be the most common example. And my thinking, once again, is just like, if really, seriously, if that's the worst issue that you've had with racism in Japan, like, that's nothing compared to what others have experienced.
I wonder.
So I think some of these commenters, it's more about them and their kind of insecurities than really, and then the issue of racism here. Have you ever experienced that? Sorry, have you ever experienced that? You're speaking Japanese and then they respond in English. No English, like in Ken Tanaka's video.
Yeah, no, I've experienced that for sure.
So do you feel like that is racist, or
exactly like that? In fact, just like that. I mean, people think that video is over the top. No, I've had the exact same experience. So I walked in with an Asian girl. Her name was Lisa. She's from California. Right. Actually, I think she was half Japanese, but she looked more Asian than white.
Right.
And they would not talk to me. They would not make eye contact with me, even though I kept explaining to them she didn't understand Japanese. They kept talking to her the whole time. It was really frustrating. I mean, yeah.
Did you think it was racist?
No, I thought it's ignorant. It was just ignorant. I thought, yeah, I just thought it was ignorant. I just thought this person has never dealt with a foreigner before, and they're freaking out. It was just that. I thought they're freaking out, and it doesn't make any sense to them that I could possibly be speaking Japanese. And of course, my Japanese wasn't that good, but it was better than hers.
Right.
Years and years, it was like 15, 20 years ago, when Japanese wasn't yet very good. Yeah, exactly. It must have been 23 years ago, so the first year or so. But I could say some things. I could order off the menu and things like that. But yeah, no, I never thought it was because she doesn't like me and she thinks I'm inferior, which is for me what racism is. Right. Let me ask you a question. Quick question. Quite a few years ago, I don't know if you remember Hillary Clinton. I guess you guys don't, Canada, right? Yeah. So one of her political opponents called her a bitch.
Oh yeah.
It was a big deal because he was I think his name was Gingrich. I want to say Gingrich or something. But apparently he called her a bitch, and he told his mother, I think she's a bitch, and then they interviewed his mother, and she told the media, yeah, my son thinks she's a bitch. Yeah. Hillary responded, thank you, because a bitch can only be someone who you think is in a power to hurt you. Yeah. So if you consider me that way, then at least I have your respect. Or something. I mean, I'm definitely paraphrasing, but I was thinking about this word racism. Do you think that racism can only be used when you fear that the person who is being racist against you has some power of authority over you?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people feel. It's not necessarily, they may not define it as authority over them, but I think what it does is it kind of highlights their insecurities. right? So that person has that power to put that insecurity in you.
But you can only be insecure if you're feeling in a position of inferiority.
Right.
Right. So I kind of question that. I mean, when they say that, maybe they're really talking about their own problems.
Right.
And I do notice this. I see people who complain about Japanese racism do care a lot about what other people think.
Yeah, that's true.
And one thing I let go of a long time ago is giving a shit. Yeah, Newt Gingrich, thank you, Brian. That's right. I really don't care what other people think too much. And if you're going to be a blogger, I think being a YouTuber, on here has helped me a lot that way, because I've pushed myself to express myself in ways that have at times in the past have been difficult. Singing on camera or being silly on camera, But now I can pretty much do anything. And people are going to write, fuck you in the comments, and you're a loser, things like that. No problem.
Well, I think being an expat, I mean, that's just kind of the nature of being an expat, right? If like you said earlier, if you can't adapt to the culture, you're so rigid in your thinking that you have no flexibility at all. Of course, if you approach everything with that mindset, you're going to see everything as racist towards you and out to get you. And I think that's really kind of the challenge that a lot of expats have in adapting, is they come to, say, Japan or even Thailand, and they suddenly get all this attention just for being something that they don't have control over, being white, being Puerto Rican, whatever, right? So they get all this positive attention for this, and they've never experienced this back home. But inside, they kind of know that it's a little bit an unwarranted attention, because it's not something that is done,
Right.
So then when the lady ignores you or whatever, and kind of pokes you a bit and brings you a little bit back to reality, it hurts them. They don't want to admit it. And so then they freak out, go online, Japanese people are racist, this woman wouldn't talk to me. But you ask someone who's been here a long time, fuck, shit happens. Shogunai, she didn't talk to me. What am I going to do? Right. Doesn't affect me, doesn't affect who I am. It's just
no, exactly. Yeah. In the end, it doesn't matter. Your name is Anthony. What if I call you Andrew? Does that really change you? I can't change you by calling you a different name or saying what I think about you. It doesn't really change what you are, essentially. So, yeah, when people feel comfortable that way, I think you're fine.
Right.
I think coming over here, one of the key qualities you need to succeed in Japan is just be confident about who you are, and not rely about that. Which, ironically, is what Japanese are not.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So surviving in Japan as a Japanese person, you want to be accepted by the group, and you have to rely on what everyone thinks about you.
Yeah, it's ironic, actually. There's two different things, because to be successful over here, you need to be confident in who you are. But as you said, the Japanese people lack that. Therefore, they don't know how to deal with you, so they deal with it in a way that some people perceive as a slight.
Yes.
So it's these two cultures kind of coming at each other.
I feel we've actually made progress in a conversation today about an old age issue. That's interesting.
Well, let me ask you the other
I believe we deserve a round of applause and about 50 thumbs up. 168 people watching, only 46 thumbs. I think that deserves thumbs up. I don't know about you guys, but maybe I'm cheap.
Let's check our Facebook page and see what the Gaijinpot Facebook crowd is talking about. Let me ask you the other big question is, what do you feel about the word Gaijin?
I made a video about that a while ago, and it got quite a bit of attention. In fact, the guy wrote an article on Japan Times or Japan Today. I forget which one, and I linked to it, and he was like, "Wow, my article's getting a lot of attention. I realized it's because of this vlog, because it touched a lot of nerves, I guess." Personally, I don't care. I have seen some very good arguments against its use. Very logical arguments that I have to pretty much say, yeah, you're right. After I heard the arguments on video, I had to agree with them. Say, yeah, you know what, you guys are right. We really shouldn't. I mean, I guess it is an insult, but for me, I've always owned it as kind of a cute way to refer to myself. It doesn't bother me. Though, like I just said, my cognitive self says, no, that's wrong, Victor, you shouldn't accept it. But yeah, it doesn't bother me in my heart, right?
So your cognitive self, what do you think should we be addressed as? Gaikokujin? Do you think that's?
I guess Gaikokujin or Amerikajin or yeah. But the word doesn't bother me. was going to tell you about that. Oh yeah, but the thing is, it's Japanese. So you know the expression shine?
No.
Shine means die.
Oh, okay, right.
If a Japanese person's angry with you, they might say shine.
Right.
Okay. But look, you know what it means. I just told you, right?
Shine.
It means die.
Right.
So tomorrow, if a Japanese guy said to you shine, you would know on a cognitive level,
right,
what he was saying.
Right.
But it wouldn't hurt your feeling.
Right.
You would think, oh, he's angry, he wants me to die.
Right.
So of course, I'm sure he doesn't really want me to die. He's just expressing his anger.
Right.
But you wouldn't feel any hurt. But a Japanese person who hears shine would be like, oh my God, It's like if I said, fuck your mother,
Right.
Fuck you and your mother. That might bother you more.
What's funny is after I left Canada, I lived in Europe for a bit. I lived in Asia for a bit. So kind of being exposed to all these different languages, it was amusing to me how powerful some words are in a specific language and have absolutely just no relevance to me or anyone who doesn't understand the language, right?
Mm.
So like you said, like Gaijin is just a word to me. It's just a Japanese word.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything to me. For example, in Thai, and my apologies to any Thai people who are listening, if you want to ask someone like what's happening, what's going on, you can say arai wa, or sorry, arai na, right? But if you want to say like what the fuck, you say arai wa.
Uh-huh.
So it's just the difference of na and wa.
Right.
But if you say, when I say arai wa, Thais, they hate it. Like,
really?
Yeah, freak out. Don't say that word. Don't say that. You shouldn't say that. It's bad. But to me, it's just a sound. Right? It's just a sound. It's just the difference between na and wa. But they say it all the time. They say it, but they're like, nah, you shouldn't say that. So that's how I feel about Gaijin. It's just a word that Japanese people use. It's just another word in Japanese language that has no meaning to me. It has no power over me. And coming from Bangkok, actually, Bangkok, we also have a word for foreigners. We call them, in Thai, we have a word for foreigners. We call them farang, right?
Fog?
Farang.
Farang, yeah, farang, yes.
F-A-A-N-G, farang, right? And so, over there, it doesn't have the kind of controversy it does here. So actually, I find it's an extremely useful way to describe yourself or describe someone else.
Yeah.
In Bangkok, they're either Thai or they're farang. Here, they're either Japanese or they're Gaijin.
But farang has it's supposed to be insulting?
Nah, it doesn't have the same connotation as it does here. I think the original origin of it is actually French people. They referred to French people as farang.
Oh, like the Cubans referred to the American army as gringo.
Right. And it just kind of came to encapsulate all white people.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So to me, the word Gaijin, I'm sure if I watch the videos that you watched, I might come to the same logical conclusion, but I'm surprised at how much of a controversy it creates on our site, especially because our name is obviously Gaijinpot, right?
Right, yeah.
We get emails all the time, people saying, that's a horrible word, you should change your name, it's a racist word, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Where did that name come from, by the way?
Well, I mean, it's
pot. Where's the pot from?
Melting pot.
Melting pot, okay.
Right. So the owners, way back when, were building this community, this melting pot of community of foreigners, right? You take melting pot, Gaijin put together, you got Gaijinpot.
Right. I think I know the founders I think they're from Nagoya, actually. There's two.
Yeah, they started in Nagoya. Yeah.
Right, two guys, right?
Yeah, Australian and American guy.
Yeah. Well, what are the names again? I don't remember. I used to go to the same gym with those guys. This is like back in the day.
Peter and Eric?
Yes, Peter and Eric, yeah. I don't remember Eric too well, but I remember Peter. We actually traveled in Thailand together. Well, not together. Not together, but we were there at the same time, and I ran into him. Do you know Neil, who did, do you know Neil, who works in Tokyo? Does the maps, the map guides?
No, I think I might have seen his stuff, but...
He's yeah, don't worry about it. But, yeah, we all used to live in Nagoya, and now most of them moved out to Tokyo. But.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So they're both still in Japan.
Both still in Japan. Yeah.
Right. All right.
But it was Peter who created the term Gaijinpot.
Wow.
At the time, he thought it was a great kind of catchy name for the site.
Mm. Oh, it's a great name.
And the thing now is it's got this such a strong brand. It's really hard for us to change it. But at the same time, we do get a lot of comments from foreigners saying you should change your name.
Well, you know what? You've heard what's happening in the States with the Redskins.
Yeah, I heard that. I mean, yeah,
it looks like they're going to have to change it. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So that there may come a day in Japan where people will say foreigners refer to themselves as everything except Gaijin. But the thing is, I refer to myself as a Gaijin. So.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
So unless Gaijin change it, it's not going to change. So. Anyway, we better wrap up. But listen, I'm really sorry that Hiko had to cancel on us suddenly. And I don't see him coming back. I don't have any phone, no message from him, so it doesn't look like he's coming back. But I would like to extend an open invitation to have you back on very soon.
Sure.
I'm sure we can talk about a bunch of other issues. I wasn't prepared tonight. I did read the blog, but I was in my head. I thought we would be speaking to the person who wrote the blog.
Right.
So I completely thrown off a little bit there. But we'd like to have you back, I'm sure. You plan to stay in Japan for a while?
Yeah, I'll be here for a while. I'm here for the long term.
All right. Okay. This show has been around longer than you, maybe.
Oh, I'm sure it has. Yeah, I remember watching Hiko's channel before I came here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, it's actually, what's funny? It was Unrested's video that I started watching that made me decide to come to Japan.
You're kidding.
Yeah, because I was trying to decide where I wanted to. I was living in Barcelona at the time, and I was thinking about I don't know where I want to go next. So just kind of surfing on the internet. I found Unrested's channel, started watching his videos, and I thought, that looks like fun, and I'll try Japan.
Oh, great! Well, he's a great guy. We're going to see him next weekend. We're having a get together in Osaka this weekend.
Right.
I was going down there, so I thought, I haven't seen Scott for a while, so I thought, what the hell? I called him up. Let's put together a party.
Right.
If anyone is watching, if you're going to be in Osaka, check the. I'll try to add links. I'll add links to the description, or check a couple of videos back. And there's a party this weekend, the 28th, Saturday night at Tins Hall, Osaka. I think we'll be there about 5 p.m. So yeah, please join us. Anthony, thanks for coming by.
Thank you, Victor. Appreciate it.
But again, my apologies for Hiko not being here. And sorry to everyone else who was expecting Hiko tonight. I don't know what's happening next week. I guess maybe we'll be on his channel then. Though, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think we may have to do 2 weeks of my channel until he gets back on his feet. We'll see. We'll figure it out. You'll see. Play it by ear. Check the Twitter. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Thanks for all the comments. And we'll see you guys next week. Stay on a bit, Anthony. I'm gonna log everybody out there. But everyone, thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Good night. Peace out. And stop broadcast. Okay.